Stratagem frustration. Hey, look, I used to be that guy that thinks every stratagem is impossible. I really did. This week has helped me realize something that probably used to be me. Some brothers aren't reading the stratagems. Yeah, I've seen a lot of posts recently of players just jumping into the hard weekly or any of the dailies and just effectively ignoring the conditions. I don't know what is going on, but it feels like sometimes when we get a new patch, we get a wave of newer players. Oh yeah, right. Space Marine 2's on sale, right? Yeah, that this is likely a component of that. You know, new players just jumping into stratagems for whatever reason. But yeah, of course, if we see a lot of posts of players complaining about other players not reading conditions, I will highlight this because I know that you guys who are digesting Space Marine 2 content likely are reading the conditions. I'm pretty sure you guys are on the ball with this, but yeah, this is just a heads up. Some players are just jumping into this game with no concerns. Like they have nothing to fear. They're just jumping into hard stratagems, level 1, dying, and then doing the same thing over again apparently. Legitimately, I mean, let's start bar none. Why are you rank 1 with no team perk trying to run hard stratagems? Of course, that's the first thing. It's like you said, I'll try heavy for the first time right now in this dude's hard stratagem. Yeah, that's definitely what they say. Secondly, and most importantly, this week has shown me people do not take into account the stratagem in the slightest. They don't actually critically think about it. My teams have naded, exploded, and incinerated me 1,000 times today. So, hyperbole aside, I've really started to realize how lucky I got for the weekly. I think for whatever reason, when, you know, players saw the Friendly Fire weekly, that first day felt pretty good. I have seen some unfortunate situations with that, but yeah, ultimately people just bringing in meltas, placing them down in a rough battle. You can't really see what's going on. And then, yeah, the heavy player just accidentally multi-meltas the melta, and then now the heavy's down. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Friendly Fire, you don't really need a condition to be a menace with it. Yeah, sometimes meltas just placed in the wrong spot can take down your teammates, which is unfortunate. But yeah, bringing a melta into Friendly Fire hard weeklies, different scenario. That seems even way riskier than I'd be willing to risk. I brought the Inferno pistol in normal mode, but for hard mode, I just kept with the burst bolt pistol, man. Anything that was accurate against Tyranids for Friendly Fire is fine. Dude, Friendly Fire against Chaos, though, might even be a larger issue, but we will see. Why are you running meltas when range damage is Friendly Fire? Why are you bringing a grenade launcher on tactical this week? Yeah, that's rough. Why? Really think about that. Why is Sniper hitting me over and over again? Why is Heavy standing behind me and unloading into my back? What is going on, guys? Yeah, in case you read those references, obviously there's a reason why I'm avoiding that. Please think about the actual stratagem. Problem solve. Adjust your perks. They're actually not that hard if you read the fine print. The fine print that isn't small and is just a description of the stratagem. Dude, I'm starting to realize the more I start to comprehend this low-level, not reading the condition situation, I think some players seriously just want all of the rewards in this game without putting in any effort. So yeah, effectively, some of these players are unfortunate trolls in a sense because, yeah, dude, if you are trying to get something out of this game, not like getting involved in build crafting around conditions, that's pretty frustrating because you're just going to be a detriment to your team. Not to mention you're leaving a whole bunch of fun on the floor there just so you can just like shake it off like, hey, I don't even know what I'm doing in hard mode. Oh, looks like I got carried. Like I hate that. I hate that so much, man. So yeah, when it comes to players just ignoring the conditions, honestly, I think it can be repeated. Hey, jerk. Players are going to start kicking you, man. If you're jumping into hard stratagems level 1, you deserve a kick. You straight up deserve a kick if you don't have a team perk. Now, if you have a team perk, I think it's worth trying out for a bit. I have ran with players, level 18 prestige 1 in hard stratagems recently, and they performed fine. But yeah, ultimately you can tell the difference between a level 14 Vanguard who's prestige 3 with unmatched zeal, who is running the Oculus, a bolt pistol, and a combat knife, and they are staying away from you and everything like that. You can tell the difference between that player when it comes to Friendly Fire And then you see like the level whatever. It doesn't even have to be a low level. But yeah, if you're just playing heavy, you have the multi-melta, you're just stealing executions, running up in players' faces with the multi-melta, throwing grenades all over the place and not even thinking about it. And then, yeah, as soon as somebody gets on the chat and like, hey, dude, friendly fire, then the dude's probably going to sit there and complain and moan about, oh, whatever, you did this wrong also. It's like, dude, no, you're just not reading the condition, right? Yeah, the reason I bring this example up is because we have a rather brazen example of players just ignoring the conditions. Little story in pictures for you guys. Who could have expected this result? All right, so we have Fall of Atreus here, Broken Bulwark, Corrosion, Camaraderie. Dude, I heard the handshake condition is very fun. I can't wait to actually start to run that. I've been playing a lot of the conditions that just appeal to me, basically. I like the handshake idea, but I mean, since we're talking about players not reading conditions, maybe the handshake condition is one that players have forgotten about as well. That would be frustrating. Just imagine being at like 1 health, just needing 1 handshake, and yeah, your teammates are just ignoring you. I have a hard time believing both teammates would ignore you. Obviously, at least one teammate would throw down a handshake, right? Anyway, neither here or there. Broken Bulwark, Fall of Atreus. Okay, let's continue. Yeah, because this is a story in pictures, guys. Okay, so interesting. Wait, you know Bulwark is debuffed, right? No. Oh, wait. Why? Yeah, there's a Bulwark right here. Okay, they're playing Assault. Wow, this Blood Angel's Assault looks very good. It's like silver and gold. I like that. But okay, yeah. Wait, you know Bulwark is debuffed, right? So. Oh, I thought he said no, but it says so. Dude, so in question mark. Wait, what? Wait, dude, hold on. You're telling me this guy just shook it off? Like, hey, dude, I have 50% less damage, I can't parry, and my health is also halved. Nah, not a big deal. Okay. And it's hard mode. It's hard mode. You can see no radar here. Not to mention they showed off this stratagem before this anyway. But okay, I would guess that this player died, right? Yeah, this player died. this player definitely died. Yep, there they are. So where is this, by the way? Since it's Fall of Atreus, even though we just see a hint of the background, not to mention since we have grass here, this is probably them dying at the point where we see the Dreadnought. Dude, that is pretty early into the game. I'm surprised it didn't die on the bridge. They actually responded to you. You know, like when they actually were on the chat saying, you know, shrugging off their Bulwark nerf. Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't die directly after that. They actually went around the corner and then died. Okay, that's rough. I mean, dude, was there anything? I mean, besides the fact that they just shrugged off the fact that they were nerfed, not every player can play through class nerfs, man, especially on hard mode. That is definitely a little bit difficult. But yeah, I mean, for randoms, playing with randoms, I wouldn't suggest this at all. If you're playing with like-minded players who know that you're jumping into the condition with a nerfed class and they don't mind it, that's different. In this situation, it seems like the Bulwark just joined and then said, hey, I'm nerfed, deal with it. That's different attitude, you know what I mean? But yeah, they ended up dying within the first couple encounters. That's unfortunate. And then here we are. Yep, Bulwark is dead, respawning. I think they had a rough time this game, right? Maybe they even left or something. But unfortunately, it feels like this Bulwark is going to try to muscle their way through a carry or getting carried, which is very unfortunate, dude. Yep, read the conditions. Be mindful of your teammates. I think this is more of a be mindful of your teammates situation because they did read the condition. They just didn't think it was going to be relevant to them or something. That's pure arrogance, and yeah, that's why they're respawning. Not every condition is going to allow you to do that either, though. You gotta keep in mind. Shake my hand, brother. No, guess we'll die. I don't get these people. Yeah, that's likely another example of players not reading the condition. The player who's standing there with their hand out for an extended period of time is definitely asking for some help at the very least. Holy cow. Dude, yeah, this is the one that I'm excited to play just to see how everyone reacts to it. But like, dude, honestly, I'm a little bit concerned with the fact that some of these players just aren't reading or aren't really comprehending the conditions, or at the very least, they just don't care. They just don't care. They're just jumping into hard stratagems, jumping into any stratagems, looking for the carry. Dude, jump into normal. Normal has been really fun recently with the new conditions. There's been a lot of crazy stuff to try out, but honestly, I've also really enjoyed hard stratagems with some of these new conditions, but yeah, some of the new combinations can be a little bit weird. But yeah, ultimately, if you see your battle brother sitting there with their hand out, please shake their hand. You're gonna get some free heals. Holy cow, man. How do you, like, that's the funniest thing. Some of these players, since they're just ignoring the conditions, they're just throwing dice at, like, what actually happens in the game. It's so insane. Like, dude, they don't even second guess it. Full heals for handshakes? Nah. I like that they added the positive negative indicators in the bottom right hand corner, but what I still don't understand is why we can't get an actual mission description while on the battle barge outside the terminal. Yeah, that's a good point. That is definitely something they need to fix, because yeah, let's say for an example, you guys actually complete your stratagem and then the host switches stratagem to the next one. You can't see that. If you're not the host, you can't see what conditions are available. So fair point. I still think a lot of people are more concerned with players not reading conditions when it comes to the weekly, which in my opinion is a different situation. The weekly's, you know, the same thing throughout the week. If you don't know what it is, you should probably understand what it is before you start to queue into it, at the very least. But yeah, this situation is definitely true. Yeah, like if you're in the battle barge, you're not the host, and the host switches the mission, then you can't see what it is, for sure. I feel like some of these situations that we are reading are about players joining in missions, like when they're about halfway, and not the mission being switched on them, essentially. They could show it in the menu, just like it does once you get boots on the ground. It is possible to join a different mission than you selected, and easy to forget what loadout you have when you've jumped on for a quick match. I'm not saying people aren't ignoring the modifiers, but sometimes there might be another reason. I mean, that's fair. I just think it's way it's way unlikely, in my opinion, players jump into hard stratagems and don't look at their loadout. And at the very least, if they don't do that, if they don't look at their loadout, at the very least, for hard stratagems, what makes you think they're reading conditions? You know what I mean? So I guess, dude, fair quality of life suggestion at the very least, but I still think more players are just not very concerned with the conditions. It's like you said, I'll try heavy for the first time right now in this dude's hard strat run. This sense of entitlement is setting you up for aggravation. It's not your hard stratagem run, it's their run just as much as yours. Alright, so this comment definitely misses the point, in my opinion. What is more entitled? Asking for everyone on your team to follow the same rules, or setting up one person on your team to do less but have the same rewards just because they want a carry? Right? Like, it's no, it's not entitled to expect your teammates to protect themselves. It is not entitled to expect your entire team to be on the same page when they actually have to be on the same page for a victory. It is simply just not entitled to, jump into hard mode expecting the other two members on your teammate are going to pull their weight. That's not entitled, no. Being entitled is when you jump into hard mode, not understanding the mission, not with a good build for it, and still expect the same rewards as the other two players who are actually doing the job. You know what I mean? So yeah, I didn't like this comment, and neither did the original poster. Sure, let's call it entitlement. It's just being considerate. Answer me this. In this team-based video game, you have full agency to decide to be an asset or a liability to your team, the former of which leads to a 100% chance of 45 minutes being used well, the latter of which leads to 44 minutes being wasted with a 5% chance it's used well and the run is completed. So yeah, effectively saying you're wasting other people's time if you're jumping into a stratagem not knowing what you're doing, especially of which if you're doing it on purpose, which we have seen an example of it recently. As a thought experiment, could you try and justify for me why your teammates are not allowed to be indignant at their other teammates intentionally deciding to waste their time? The game belongs to everyone, so since it's theirs just as much as mine, we're both entitled. One of us is entitled to a 95% chance of wasting a maximum of 88 minutes across 2 other players and strictly reducing the fun of the game for 2 other people. This is pretty close to the shopping cart thought experiment. Just put your cart away, right? Yeah, exactly. If you want to first time heavy, just run a non-stratagem easy difficulty run, or at the very least, yeah. I mean, you jump into either minimal or average, get your team perk, and then you can just jump into normal stratagems, man. Well, okay, depending on your skill level, but for the most part, normal stratagems should be fine. You would have to have something close to a learning issue to not be able to follow how you're affecting other people. You're entitled to do whatever, just like I'm entitled to think you're detrimental to the team. That's the best way I can describe that one. But yeah, very, very well said for sure. I'm pretty positive players don't read. Literally had a game last night with a random that joined me and my friend. He was a heavy with a flamer and killed both of us completely confused why we died. He even said it over game chat. I told him to look at the mission modifiers. He proceeded to reply, I didn't look at them before I queued up. Oh, okay. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Players are just not looking at conditions, jumping in blindly to stratagems. Holy cow. Dude, anyone who's doing that, you are wild. This one single interaction I had is enough to tell me most people don't look at them, and it really shows. Like the mission I did with the primary weapons doing almost no damage and secondaries doing more, had a sniper join me for that. He had a sniper rifle and was taking 4 shots to kill a single target. That could have been me. That could have been me. I forget where I was doing that, but I'm sorry about that. If anything, if it was me, we completed it. I told him why. Okay, no, it wasn't me. I told him why, since he was raging about it. He didn't want to listen, got mad at me, and I kicked him. Yeah, definitely not me. People, do not read the modifiers. Holy cow. By the way, I would never jump into a condition like that is effectively nerfing my primary in hard mode. Never, ever. No shot. But I did jump into one of the normal stratagems. I was just casually playing. And yeah, I was effectively just using the heroic bolt sniper when it was nerfed, and it does take about 4 shots. But no, I wasn't kicked. Nobody told me to stop or anything like that. Not to mention I also had the Inferno pistol. So even though I was having a nerfed primary, I was switching to the Inferno pistol quite a lot. Dude, by the way, yes, the Inferno pistol with the condition that boosts your secondary, very much worth it, dude. It's huge. But okay, yeah, I mean, honestly, I read about as many of these situations as I can without getting tilted, I guess. But wow, dude, like, I don't understand. It's either just brazen, just brazen arrogance to just jump into a mission without reading the conditions and just thinking you're just going to be able to wing it. I mean, sure, I like the energy at the very least, but yeah, see, at the beginning, when you're winging it, it's all good. But once winging it doesn't start to work out, you look pretty bad. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a risk. Winging it is a risk, essentially. But yeah, and then there's the entitled players where it's just like, I'm bad at the game. So what? I'll die a couple times. Who cares? But in normal mode, that's fine. In hard mode, no, buddy. Like, in normal mode, I can carry it. In hard, depending on the conditions, I've done some pretty okay carrying in hard stratagems, but sometimes you see the hard stratagems that are like a level up even from hard stratagems, where it's just like 3 super hard conditions and then a positive condition that is barely anything. Yeah, sometimes those are a bit of a struggle to carry. So, like, yeah, I can pull out a win in hard stratagems with players who are making mistakes. I don't care about that. I care about players who aren't concerned at all with how they play. You know what I mean? Like, the player who makes a mistake and then, understands it, goes back in the footage, sees what they messed up, see where they can improve, and then bring that back to the table with improved gameplay, even if it's only a little bit. That means you at least care, Like, the worst feeling in this game is carrying somebody who doesn't care, Like, they're dying 6 times in a mission, and then they're just gonna uninstall the game anyway. So it's like, what was even the point of carrying this player, dude? But yeah, this is definitely a pretty funny situation. Yeah, level 1's not reading the condition and everything like that obviously is an issue. I still think the devs need to level lock hard mode. If we see any more, community outroar about low-level players and hard stratagems, I'll cover it. I really want to make sure the devs at one point acknowledge that fact, but still, you know, there's only so much we can do. So if people are complaining about something else, or if people are criticizing or exposing a bug, whatever, we will be here for that. But for the most part, everyone who is watching this video reads the conditions, right? Holy cow, I did not know this problem was as widespread as it was. Maybe the new conditions, you know, maybe the new conditions threw some players through a bit of a, you know, a shakeup, and they just have to get used to it or something. Or, I don't know, we have very impressive illiterate Space Marines or something, because if you can't read, I don't understand how you're even leveling your weapons up or anything like that, you know? But it is what it is. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this, and thanks for watching.